I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
This is the Virtual Real Estate Investor Podcast with Vincent Polisi. Buckle your seatbelt and prepare to learn how to legally make six figures investing in real estate with no money, no credit check, and nothing but a computer and internet connection. Learn how you too can begin generating buyers and sellers for free today, and why you're only 2 calls away from making a $10,000 or more payday while never leaving the comfort of your home. And now, your host, the virtual real estate investor, Vincent Polisi.
Guys, here we go. We are back in action, back in the saddle. What you're about to listen to is a webinar we did yesterday. It is absolutely jam-packed with gold, and I do mean gold. This is an absolute printing press. Get out a notepad, take notes, pay attention. You're going to make money if you follow the instructions that we are laying out in this webinar. What this webinar is the How to Eat an Elephant plan I put together for one of my paid joint venture partners when he declared to me that he wanted to make $1 million in the remaining 9 months of 2017. So I laid out the entire plan. You're about to hear it, and then you're going to hear the unbelievable success he already had day one from following this plan directly from him. So you don't have to take my word for it. This does not get any better. Absolute most requested webinar I've ever done. Jam-packed with knowledge, jam-packed with nuggets, and it's immediately actionable by everyone. Doesn't cost a dime. So stay tuned. You are in for a treat.
Hey, what's up, investors? John Lee Dumas here, founder and host of Entrepreneur on Fire, awarded Best of iTunes 2013, and you're listening to the Virtual Real Estate Investor Podcast with my man, Vincent Polisi. Prepare to ignite.
All right, guys. I know it's a little impromptu, but this is super relevant information. Wanted to go ahead and get this out to you guys as quickly as possible because I want you to understand you don't have to struggle, okay? This stuff is really legitimate. You're going to get to see it, witness it live here in just a second. As I go through this stuff and I'm going to let Stephen actually tell you what he ended up doing yesterday, how this whole thing sort of came to be. We were on Stephen's one of my One On One JVPs, and we were on a call yesterday, and I was kind of walking him through his How to Eat an Elephant plan so that he knew exactly what to do on a daily basis. If you guys have not watched the How to Eat an Elephant video, I highly recommend that you take the time to do that. And let me explain to you why that is real quick. I'm going to move really quickly here as we get through this information. But the reason for the How to Eat an Elephant plan is that most people will go out there and they will set goals. So they have a goal, I want to make $1 million a year, but they fail to then create what is called an action plan, or in this case, what's called the How to Eat an Elephant plan. So $1 million is a big, gigantic psychological goal for a lot of people. They don't know how to do it. And so the brain shuts down because they can't put their head around how to generate $83,333 per month, consistently month in, month out. Most people have never made $83,000 in a year. Most people have never made $100,000 in a year. I've done both. You guys can do the exact same thing. I'm about to show you exactly how. First step is you got to get your mind around it, because most people have a station in life, a psychological ceiling that is self-created over what their station in life is and what kind of income they should be making. And it's important to understand this and realize this, because you yourself, your subconscious brain, will hold you back if you don't get that in check. You've got to get it in check. I don't have that issue. I don't have any problem with lots of money coming in. I shoot for the stars on everything, and it's just, you got to be that way. We've had people in webinars in the past before that have said, they got uncomfortable making $10,000 on one deal and had to go blow the money because they were uncomfortable having that kind of cash. Sounds crazy. I mean, you got to hear it live a couple of years ago on one of the webinars, but that's psychology. That's your subconscious brain. What I call the genie, and there's a story behind this. You guys need to understand what the genie actually is. You can call it the genie, you can call it the devil, whatever. But long story short, if you look at it from this perspective, your subconscious mind is the genie, and the genie will grant you any wish that you have. Okay, but here's the caveat: if you don't keep the genie busy, the genie is going to cut your head off. Okay. That's the deal with the genie. You rub the magic lamp, the genie comes out. I'll grant you any wish you want, but you must keep me busy, or I'm going to cut your head off. Okay. This is your subconscious brain. So what do you do? How do you do that? Because if you don't keep the genie busy working on productive stuff, he's going to sabotage you and kill you. And that is how your subconscious mind works. If you guys don't know this, your subconscious brain is moving 24/7. It works all the time. It never shuts off. That's why in the middle of the night, you wake up and you remember something that you were trying to remember earlier in the day that you couldn't remember. Well, your conscious brain shut off, and the subconscious mind kept working to go through the different parts of your brain to find out where that piece of information was to then bring it forward. It's also why you get songs stuck in your head. Okay, so if you're listening to music, you get a song stuck in your head. That is your subconscious brain repeating that over and over and over again. You've kept it busy with stupid stuff like rock music or something else. Not there's anything wrong with listening to music and all that. I'm just saying, when you have these things happening, they're going over and over and over in your head, and you can't get the song out of your head. That's the genie. He's working because you gave him. It's like anything else. You give good input in, good input out. Bad input in, bad input out. That is your subconscious brain. That's why I don't get all religious or whatever. That's why the Bible tells you to be very careful about what you let into your mind. Okay, so you want to be sure that. Number one, your subconscious mind is in tune with your conscious mind from the standpoint of what it is that you're trying to create. Whatever your goal is, that goal is believable, attainable, achievable. If you've never made $1 million in a year before, that can seem like some insurmountable task. I'm going to show you how to break it down right now so that it's not. Very, very easy, very simple steps. So watch as we go through this, okay? But the first step is understanding what is your goal, and then we're going to break that down to the how to eat an elephant plan, how to eat an elephant one bite at a time. An action plan, a how to eat an elephant plan takes that $1 million goal, and it's going to break it down to exactly what needs to happen on a daily basis, okay? Action steps every single day. You guys need to go watch that video. Every single day to get you to the $1 million a year, or 2 million, or 10 million, or 100,000, or whatever your goal is. That's what you have to do every single day. And if you will follow that consistently, everybody that I've ever had work how to eat an elephant plan that actually diligently disciplined worked it. And it doesn't take a whole lot, because once you break this stuff down, you'll realize how easy it really is if you are focused and have discipline on accomplishing that daily task. And I've used this example, it's in the other video, but the very first guy that listened to me that did this, he was a mortgage banker. We worked together in Atlanta. Guy had never made more than $60,000 in a year, never made more than $5,000 a month in mortgage banking. And I roll in there, and we're cranking down 20, 30 grand, 40 grand and more. And he's like, can't figure out how we're doing it. We're like, what are you doing? What are you doing different than me? How, we work in the same office. How are you doing this? And so I sat him down, and I walked him through on a legal pad how to eat an elephant plan. I said, what's your goal? And then we broke it down, And what ended up happening was, now this guy who was, he's an high analytical, super nice guy, not a closer not a driver closer like I am, but super nice guy, very amenable, personable, but his closing skills weren't there yet. He was not that type of, he had never been trained that way, and he just didn't have that thing. So his conversion ratios weren't there, and didn't understand necessarily how to prospect, what exactly he had to do to generate the leads necessary to achieve his income goals. So I sat him down. I said, okay, look, boom, here you go. This is exactly how you do it. It's all you have to do. Now, if you go do this and you do it diligently, consistently, this is what's going to happen. It can't happen any other way. These are your numbers based off of your personal experience, right? And so with a guy like that, hopefully you guys are all the same way. You'll do exactly the same exact thing. You take him in, and he goes out and does it, and he has to be diligent with it. So it doesn't matter if he didn't get something done, you stay late and you get it done. It doesn't matter if he had to work on the weekend to accomplish his list for that week of things that had to happen. These are the things that have to happen to achieve the goal. And if you don't do them, you slack off, you screw around on Facebook, you do something different, you're never going to get to the goal because you're not serious. So you've got to focus in on that. If a goal is your goal and you are serious with yourself and honest with yourself that you want to accomplish that, you have to have a how to eat an elephant plan on how to get there. So when your feet hit the floor in the morning, there is no question about what you need to do that day to get to that goal. Okay. So in this case, this guy never made more than $5,000. I told Steven the story yesterday. I never forget when he walked into my office with his big Cheshire cat grin on his face. And he was, I was like, he had this like weird look, and I'm just like, hey, what's going on? He was like just smiling. He says, tomorrow, we get paid tomorrow. The direct deposit's going to hit tonight. And he said, I haven't told my wife yet. I said, I haven't told your wife what? And he's like, well, I made, $12,000 this month. Okay. This is the first month that he followed the How to Eat an Elephant plan. So he never made more than 5 before he makes $12,000 the first month. I said, well, that's fantastic. She's like, yeah, she's going to freak out thinking something's wrong because she's never seen that kind of money in the bank account before. So, fantastic. Just changed the guy's life overnight, made almost 2.5 times what he had done. And what, did he have to work anymore? No, he didn't. Did he have to work any more hours? No, he didn't. He just had to be focused and know exactly what he needed to accomplish. And his brain had to get around, this is all you have to do is this right here. Make sure this gets done. And if you do this, this is what will happen. It doesn't work any other way, guys. So $12,000 first month. Okay. Month 2 continues on, makes $18,000 month 2. Remember, he never made more than $5,000 before I sat down with him on the legal pad. Month 3 makes $30,000. Okay, so in the first 3 months, he had made, what was that, 13, 8, 48, $60,000, and his whole annual goal was only $100,000 because he never made that before. That's what happens when you do this. I've never had anybody not make their annual goal in 3 to 6 months from following the How to Eat an Elephant plan if they do it diligently. And you analyticals, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm not being condescending or critical, so I'm just saying I'm not an analytical. You guys know that I'm a wild maniac. Driver expressive or bull tiger, however you want to, whatever plan you go by. But you analyticals, this is exactly what you guys need because you guys are systems people. This is like the best gift I could ever possibly give you is the How to Eat an Elephant plan on how to get there because you guys love systems, processes, quantifiable, A to Z. This is how you do it. This is exactly the input that I need to put in to get the yield that I'm looking for. If you guys will simply work this, I'm telling you, you will be on fire. All right, let's roll. Here we go. So what is the power of 8? Power of 8 is going to show you guys how you can literally make $1 million in the next 9 months if you will follow this. Okay, as I say here, it's the exact How to Eat an Elephant plan. I just mapped out with Steven yesterday. You're going to get to see exactly what we ended up doing, and I'm going to tell you what his results were and his experience was here in just a second. So how do you do it? All right. Well, $1 million in 9 months is $111,111.11 a month for the next 9 months. Okay. Now, as I just indicated, if your subconscious brain freaks out hearing that, you got to get yourself in check and realize that you are worthy of making that kind of money. You owe yourself that kind of money. Okay. Your family deserves that kind of money. Does that make sense? Do you believe that? Do you agree with that? Can I get an amen? Okay. You deserve this. It's out there. There is no shortage of money. You deserve it. You've got to wrap your head around the fact that you can make $111,000 in a month and month in, month out. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay. So 111,000 divided by 15, our minimum deal size on these retail contract assignments is $15,000 based off a $300,000 purchase price, 5% down, $15,000. That's the minimum deal size. Okay. I tell you, if you follow what I tell you to do, you'll never do anything less for a $15,000 minimum check or wire. So we divide that revenue per deal. That equals 7.4 deals per month or roughly 2 deals per week. Okay. Some of you guys aren't even doing 2 deals in a month, and part of the reason for that is because you don't have the How to Eat an Elephant plan, and you're not working it consistently and prospecting consistently, or you're doing these other, waste of time things like wholesaling or whatever. And by wholesaling, I don't mean wholesaling. I mean the contract assignments done incorrectly, where you're wasting all the time and money on bandit signs and yellow letters and everything else. So here's how you're going to get the 2 deals per week. This is so ridiculously simple. I mean, you guys should really be paying me for this. I don't mean to sound arrogant, but I mean, this is, when you see this thing, it's brilliant. Okay. So you're going to go through the power of 8, and here's what we're going to do. All you need to get those deals, you need 8 mortgage brokers that give you 1 of their dead purchase money deals per month. Okay. 8 times minimum revenue, 15,000. That's $120,000 a month. It actually blows past the goal. Okay. You only need one deal at the minimum level, one of their dead deals from 8 guys on a monthly basis. So the question I would have for you guys would be, seriously, do you honestly believe that you can't get one dead deal from a person that's sitting there in their office right now on a monthly basis, month in, month out, one for one deal? And I'm talking about one. We're not talking about 10. You don't have to get 10 from him. You will, but I'm just saying, you don't think you can get one dead deal a month? I mean, if you can't, you got bigger problems that I can help you with. Okay. I'm going to show you exactly here how to get them. I'm going to show you why it's a no-brainer. I'm going to show you exactly what Steven did, or I'm going to let him show you exactly what he did to pull these 8 people yesterday after our conversation. Okay. So you need 8 mortgage brokers, right? These guys are everywhere. How do you find them? Easiest way to find exactly what you're looking for, because we're looking for very specific guys. We want guys that handle purchase money. You guys understand what that means? Purchase money is it's the type of mortgage. Purchase money mortgages. We're doing purchases. And loan officers, mortgage bankers, mortgage brokers tend to have a specialty or area of expertise they focus on. A lot of times it'll be when there's a rate change situation where rates go down, everybody focuses on refis. The smart guys focus on purchase money because they build clients out for a future refi database. I focused heavily on purchase money when I was in the business and new construction neighborhoods and builders and all this kind of stuff. It's because it's a much better flow and much better way to make money if you're doing that. And you don't have the ebbs and flows and the roller coaster income that the refi guys have when rates went over, because people always need to buy a house. So the best way to find them, the easiest way to find who you're looking for, is simply call the on-site realtors in the model home and new construction subdivisions on the price point that you're looking for. So if you want to go after $500,000 homes, $500,000 buyers, then you find a $500,000 plus neighborhood, contact the realtor on site, ask her who their preferred lender is. That's all you got to do. They'll tell you. They'll give them to you for free. Okay. And their preferred lender is going to be somebody that gets their deals closed because they want to get paid and make money. They're not going to refer you to somebody that isn't closing their deals, because that's idiotic. They're going to tell you the guy that's actually closing the loans. That's the guy you want, right? So you contact them. They'll tell you who he is. Next phone call is to guess who? That mortgage broker. Okay. Now, there's a very easy way, once you have the first guy or girl, to get the other 7. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a second. Steven followed this and did it yesterday. One day, one guy, one afternoon, all 8. He's 21 years old. Let that sink in for a second. He's 21 years old. Was able to pull all 8 yesterday. You want to know why? 2 reasons. He followed instructions and he took immediate action. Didn't waste time. He said, you give me the roadmap and tell me exactly what to do and I'll go do it. And I'll be damned. Guess what? Unlike the 9,000 other people in the group, he actually did it. Okay. That's the person that you have to be. Okay. It's not tomorrow. It's not later today. It's right now. Go get it done. Don't hesitate. Don't waste time. If you want to make this money, this is what you have to do. Okay. No excuses. You got to get out of those old habits of all that crap and putting things off, and I'll do it when I get around to it and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm going to show you now. You guys are going to love this. You'll be in for a funny little clip here. How we get the other 7. So I'm going to get a drink of water while this is going. Well, maybe not. This isn't going to work. Come on. Oh, you know what? I forgot this. I did this on a different computer. I don't have the plug-in. Lovely. All right. Well, we're going to skip that then. We'll go to the next one. So how does Steven get all 8 in one day? He used the rule of the domino. Okay. If you guys don't know what the rule of the domino is, guess what? Here's what he did. He did exactly what I told him to do. And mortgage broker number 1 is the first domino. And guess who mortgage broker number 1 knows? Anybody? Put it over in the question box. Tell me if you know the answer. Guess who mortgage broker number 1 knows? Somebody answer the question, please, God. Brandon, thank you. Yes, he knows other guys. He knows other mortgage brokers. He's surrounded by them. He knows their deal and how much money they're making, what their focus is, if they do purchase money or refi, what price points. They work in the same office, okay? He knows them. So it's not this big ordeal where you got to go out and close 8 guys and find them. Mortgage broker number 1 is going to tell you who they are. He's going to tell you who the hitters are, okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, this is not hard, but the beauty of it is nobody's doing it. Nobody is doing it, okay? So think about that for a second. You know, all you guys have gone out there and done the wholesaling, you know, the quote unquote wholesaling gig and all that. And you're fighting all your other buddies out there, cutting each other's throat, putting out bandit signs and yellow letters and buying the same lists and tripping over each other, all that. And, you know, it's that red ocean where you're all cutting each other's throats all the time, trying to eat each other. And here you have this beautiful, I mean, just absolutely beautiful stream of people with cash that want to pay you for the value that you can provide them of getting them a home. And the mortgage brokers will give them to you for free. All you have to do is ask. Okay? All you have to do is ask. So that's it. I mean, there you go. That's the rule of the domino. Use that guy. Hey, after you get done with him and he's on board, who else do you know that could benefit from this? Not rocket science, guys. He knows a ton of people. Okay? So we are going to go through now exactly what the spiel and the pitch is, because this is genius and nobody's doing it. And you're out there struggling and you don't have to be. So the intro, and this is how you get them eating out of your hand, okay, is Mr. Mortgage Broker. I'm a professional real estate investor looking for a competent, keyword competent, mortgage broker to refer my buyers to. What do you think just happened there? Anybody? You know what just happened there? Do I have his attention? I got his complete attention, because guess what he wants? He wants referrals. That's the best source of business there is referrals. Dealing with an investor, doing deals, and I'm going to refer him clients. That's exactly what he wants. I'm going to refer him retail clients that he can do refinances for. Okay, so I have his attention immediately. Now my thing is I'm going to take and I want to pre-qualify him so I can make sure that he matches what we're looking for. All right. So here's why this works. Number one, it's true, because I really am I'm always looking for competent mortgage brokers to refer our clients to, our buyers to, because ultimately at the end of the day, if it's a sandwich and I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 80, 100 grand on the backside of the deal, I want to get that money out, and I need somebody that understands exactly how we're doing deals that can get this guy refinanced. Okay. So it's 100% true. Don't feel like it's deceptive, because it's not, because it's 100. I'm always looking for competent mortgage brokers in every market. You should be too. And this is exactly why. You're leading by giving to get. Okay. That's the way I do everything in business. I give to get. I give away free information. I get a lot of money. Okay. In this situation here, I want to give away leads. And guess what I want in return? Or what I get in return? I get leads with cash. That's what I want. Make sense? So the other reason it works is every mortgage broker wants more business. Okay, we already talked about this. Referrals are the very best leads possible. I mean, who doesn't want referrals? I mean, it's you've been referred. Okay, and it's just, it doesn't get any better, right? That's exactly what everybody wants in business. All right. So at that point in time, once you have told him that, okay, and you've explained that to him and you pre-qualified him to make sure that he's our guy, then you're going to explain to him exactly what we do. And by what we do, I'm talking about, hey, you know, Mr. Mortgage Broker, we are doing, in many cases, sandwich deals where we're buying on owner finance contracts, and then our buyers are buying from us on an owner finance contract, and we need somebody that understands, you know, what the current mortgage underwriting guidelines are for that, because of the seasoning, the way the seasoning of payments works. We've covered this in prior webinars, but if you guys don't understand, let me re-explain it. It doesn't make sense. It's not going to make sense unless you've been in mortgage banking, but here's how it works. Buyer comes in, let's say they put 10% down in cash. All right. They have a 10% equity position in the property. They start making their payments on the house. They have a bona fide sale in the eyes of the IRS and in the eyes of the underwriter that's underwriting the file. It is a legitimate bona fide sale under the IRS installment sales contract guidelines. So the buyer is actually the owner, even though he may not have the deed. Okay. Or even if you're doing one of Jonathan's sub-2 deals or something like that, and he does have the deed, it is a legitimate bona fide sale at that point in time. However, if the buyer goes to refinance into conventional financing, let's say he needed to get to a certain credit score, or he needed to have, he didn't have 24 months seasoning of his income from his employer or whatever, he didn't have 2 years tax returns documenting his income, whatever that situation is, but 3 months later he gets it. If he goes to refinance, because that's exactly what he would be doing, it's actually a refinance transaction with the mortgage lender. If he goes to refinance at that 3-month mark, the lender is going to underwrite that file as if it were a new purchase money mortgage using those guidelines, even though everyone agrees that it is not a new purchase money deal. It is a refinance deal, and the mortgage is actually a refinance, but they use the purchase money guidelines because there are not 12 seasoned payments on the new owner finance mortgage. Does not make sense, but that's how they do it. So what does that mean? In English, what that means is that even though the guy's got 10% down and he has 10% equity in the property, he gets credit for none of it on the new mortgage. They're going to make him put another 10% down if he wants to refinance conventionally at that point in time before that 12-month mark. Makes no sense. I can't explain it to you. That's what they do, okay? That's how they actually handle it. This is why we typically are refinancing people out at 12 months, because at 12 months, when we have 12 seasoned payments documented, the lenders then underwrite based off of the refinance guidelines, and all we have to have is the equity position. That's why our down payments pattern parallel current FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac guidelines, so that when they go to refi, they already have it built in, the equity position that they're going to need for that based on the loan. It's called a loan to value ratio. They're already going to have that all built in. Okay. So that's the reason for the down payment requirement that matches exactly what FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac requires. All right. So we explain all of this to them so that they understand, because a lot of guys have never done a refinance of this type of transaction. Okay, so you have to explain that to them, and that you need to make sure that you're dealing with one of two guys. Okay, it's either a guy that knows what he's doing, and those are few and far between, or a guy that'll do what you tell him to do. Either one is fine with me. I'll do business with either one of them. Either you know what you're doing, fantastic, you're competent, excellent, or you'll do what I tell you to do. I don't mean that condescendingly, but when I say, hey, listen, go ask your underwriter this and have her provide the guideline, they'll go do that. Okay. And there are deals that we've gotten done in the past where people have been declined with other multi-billion-dollar lenders, and I had loan officers that I could send them to. And I'll give you a perfect example. You can actually go reach out to her. She's in the Facebook group, Susan Hansen. I had one of my clients from my mortgage banking days. I'd done a bunch of mortgages for her, and guy comes to me and he's been declined by he's a special agent for Homeland Security, veteran, the whole 9 yards, been declined by USAA, multi-billion-dollar company, for a mortgage to purchase a property. I had been out of the business for 2 or 3 years at this point, and he's telling me he's coming to me so that I can get him a house through our Home Finder program. And I said to him, his name is Thor, and I said, Thor, I haven't seen your stuff lately, and certainly the guidelines could have changed because I've been out of the game a little bit. I said, but if they haven't, from what I recall, there's no reason that you wouldn't qualify today. I think they're calculating the income and the debt incorrectly. So let me get a hold of somebody here that'll either knows what they're doing or that will follow my instructions, and let's see if we can get this thing taken care of for you. I mean, I'd love to do a deal with you, but why do that if you don't have to? And so I got a hold of Susan. Susan was still underwriting mortgages at that point in time. I explained to her, look, here's the situation. I think they're calculating this incorrectly. Can you run this up the flagpole and find out if this guideline is still accurate? And if it is, then maybe you can do a deal. And then guess what happened? I was correct. Here I am years out of the, this is not, I'm not bragging. Don't misunderstand this. I want you to understand what you're dealing with when you deal with these guys that are out there that will tell you something. This is why I tell you to vet everything with anybody, no matter who it is, even me. Always vet everything. But here you got a guy that's got a 780 credit score, $30,000 in cash to put down, and can't get a new construction. It's not new construction. It was a new construction house, but he couldn't get a mortgage, purchase money mortgage with 10% down on an FHA deal. It's insane, right? Because they're calculating his income incorrectly and the way the debt was working incorrectly. And so I explained that to her. She ran it up. Bam, I was correct. They closed out. He's been living in the house and posting stuff on Facebook and all that about how happy this was a couple of years ago. But that's an example, okay? So you've got to be dealing with somebody that's competent and knows what they're doing, or somebody that will do what you're telling them to do, okay? Now, it doesn't mean you be nasty to them and tell them what to do. It just means that, hey, can you go see if this is the case? You explain to them exactly what we're doing so they understand it. They can wrap their head around it. And then once all that's done, guess what? It's the, oh, by the way, just one more thing, okay? So you've led with giving to get. You're looking for somebody competent to refer your people to. They're totally interested. You've explained what what you're doing. And now we come in for the close, okay? Just one more thing. Oh, by the way, all those dead files that you've got of people trying to buy houses that you had to decline? We can buy houses for them that you can then refinance also. And that is where the magic happens, okay? Okay? Because now what you've done for this guy is you have taken and provided him a way to build a pipeline and make money from his dead files. Think about that for a second. He's got time invested in these things. He's had to take time for applications. He's had to deal with people. They've entrusted him with all of their personal information. He's not making money off of them. He's then had to do disclosures for FACTA and everything else, where he had to send them all kinds of stuff because he made the mistake of taking an application on somebody that didn't qualify, and the government's punishing him with making him do all this disclosure stuff. And I'm telling you from experience, in not only being a mortgage banker, a loan officer, a mortgage broker, but owning a mortgage company and hiring these guys, I can tell you from firsthand experience, every one of them has a pile of these things sitting there, people they've had to turn down, okay? And the way it works, and you guys think about this, they got to eat every single month. They're starting from zero every single month, right? They got to find new people for new mortgages every single month, and they never touch these people again because it's always, I got to make payroll. I got to make payday today. I got to eat today. So where's my 780 credit score person? That's who I'm looking for. And the people that are in the dead files, they never get talked to again. They never get emailed. I'm just telling you, they don't follow up with them. You may have one guy out of 100 that's an analytical that puts his stuff in Podio or something like that and does a tickler follow up, or they have some system where they, do whatever. But 9 times out of 10, I'm just telling you, they don't follow up. They never talk to him again. And those people that they've taken time and energy with are gone forever. And they never have any way to profit from them. Okay. So the other thing is that, hey, we can buy them houses today. You can refinance within 12 months. You build out the pipeline. Beautiful thing here. Here it comes. Here comes the boom. You never have to decline a buyer again. Think about that. How powerful is that? You give this guy the ability to never have to decline a buyer again. For those of you who've never been in mortgage banking or any type of consumer credit, let me just tell you, the declining people sucks. It's horrible. You feel like, you don't want to do it. It's like the dreaded phone call. You're the Grim Reaper, the guy, the dream stealer. You have to be that person. It's terrible. I hated it. Okay. I'm not gonna lie to you. I hated it. I had to get good at it, but nobody enjoys that. Nobody, especially because not only is it bad enough, it's like insult to injury. Not only are you not making money because you can't do a deal, but on top of getting, whacked over the head with that, now you got to go tell the guy. Okay, got to listen to the tears on the phone and all this other stuff and getting cussed out and whatever. It just, It's not fun. It's terrible. Now they never have to do that again with the buyer. Never, ever have to do that again. I'll show you what she gave us here in a second. So they also get to make money from the work they've already done. Who doesn't want to do that? I mean, I don't want to waste time. If I can make money from work I've already done, granted, maybe it's 12 months down the road, that's still fine by me. Awesome. And the clients love them because they're giving them an opportunity to, achieve the goal that they came to them with to begin with, right? Because here you go. I hate declining people. It's terrible, right? They don't have to do it anymore. They get very excited when they hear this because it's you've given them a new tool in their arsenal here, their toolbox, to never have to do that again. So let's talk about what you have to do, okay, and how you get these guys firing over leads to you consistently. Now, remember, for this plan, you only need 8 guys sending you one dead deal a month, okay? That dead deal is going to have cash. That dead deal is going to have a sense of urgency. They want to buy a house right now and don't qualify. You only need 8 guys sending you one a month to make that $1 million mark for the rest of the year. And I know you can do it because Steven just did it, okay? So we'll get into him here in a second. But you then, once you find them and pre-qualify them, and you make sure that they're doing the $300,000 plus purchase money deals. That's who we want. You found them. If you followed the thing the right way, they're coming from a builder that does that type of business. So you've already done everything you can to pre-qualify before you actually get them on the phone. So you know they already do those type of deals. Now you have to train them. Okay. Now I got bad news for you guys. A lot of you guys are probably not going to like me after I tell you this. But here's the truth. Loan officers, mortgage bankers, mortgage brokers, they are salespeople. Just like realtors, salespeople. Okay? Just like us, investors, we're salespeople. Okay? We're not investors. We're not, same thing with new construction builders. No, Mr. Builder, you're not in the new construction home business. You're not in the building business. You're in the sales business. You're in the home selling business. That's what your business is. Without a sale, you make no money. Okay? Salespeople, and we're all salespeople, pointing the finger at myself, are lazy. We're all lazy. Inherently lazy people. We want to make as much money as possible doing the least amount of work possible. That is the nature of the beast. That's why we're in sales. And you can call it whatever flavor you want, builder, realtor, mortgage guy, investor, whatever. Every business is in the business of sales, okay? And we're inherently lazy, and these loan officers are no different. The mortgage bankers are no different. They're lazy, okay? And it's not, it is what it is. So you need to understand what you're dealing with. They're going to put in the least amount of effort possible to make as much money as they humanly possibly can. So you've got to train these guys the right way, and you're going to have to follow up with them. All right. And I advise putting a tickler in Podio that, you can create automatic emails for them. You can create a tickler that pops up every whatever period of time, once a week, just to follow up and give them a quick phone call, stay in front of them, etc. But you're going to have to train these guys on what to do when they come across what you're looking for. So let me show you how that works. This is the beauty of this thing, is that you're telling them, you're going to provide them everything that they need to bring you leads, okay, and make their job in life easier, build out that pipeline of deals that they could be closing, where they could be tattooed on the deal 30 days down, or I'm sorry, not 30 days, 12 months down the road. And they've got this huge pipeline now that, okay, every single month, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 deals are that they would not have otherwise had are now closing, and their income goes through the roof. Okay. So you need to understand the value and what it is that you're providing them here to paint that picture so they understand what's going on. So here's the feather pillow decline. Okay. So he has a buyer that doesn't qualify. He's going to have to call her up and tell her that she can't purchase a home now because he can't get the mortgage approved for whatever the reason is. Mrs. Buyer, unfortunately, I cannot get you approved for conventional bank financing today, but the good news is I did get you approved for owner financing, and you can still buy a home today. How money is that? You've kept the dream alive. You've given her hope. You haven't crushed her soul. Does that make sense? This is about as easy and as soft of a letdown as you can give somebody, okay? And he's totally taken everything and deferred it off of him and now teed you up, because what's her next question going to be? Does anybody know? Next question is going to be about, how do I do that? Can you explain that to me? And the door just got open for you, and that's what you're looking for, okay? That's all he has to say, one sentence. There you go. That's it. Very, very simple. And I'm telling you, this works it works like magic. All right. So after that happens, here comes the turnover. And the turnover is absolutely vital to your success. Okay. He's just told her that line. The next thing that's going to come out of her mouth is, okay, how does that work? Can you explain that to me? She has opened the door, signified interest. She wants it because she wants to buy a home. And now Mike, the mortgage banker, is going to say, let me get Stephen on the phone so he can explain it to you in complete detail. Hold on one second. And then he conferences you in. And if you're not available, then it's like, hey, Mrs. Buyer, with your permission, I'd like to give him your contact information so that he can give you a phone call and he can explain to you in detail. So it's a private investor that I work with that buys homes for people that don't qualify, that they can legally own today through an owner finance contract, and then I can refinance you into conventional financing in the next 12 months. Guys, I'm telling you, this is so funny, it's not even funny, all right? You're solving everybody's problem. Everybody is going to love you, okay? Everybody is going to love you when you do this for them. That's the only way that it ever works. Now, once that's happened and you start getting these leads in, I want to talk real quick about, this is a big mistake that most people make, okay? Big mistake that most people make. No sense of urgency. I yelled at some people earlier today for no sense of urgency, for not doing it immediately right now, not later today, not tomorrow, not next week, do it right now. There's no sense of urgency. There is only one purpose of your initial phone call with a mortgage banker. One and one only, okay? And most of you probably don't even know what that is. That's no slide on you, but I'm here to tell you exactly what that is. One purpose of the call. If you follow my instructions and do what I'm telling you to do, you will focus on that one thing, and you will reap the rewards. What is that one thing? The purpose of that phone call, the only purpose of that phone call, is to leave that initial, I'm talking about phone call number one to Mr. Mortgage Broker, phone call number one. The only purpose of that call is to leave that call with a lead. Let's review. The only purpose of that phone call is to close and leave that initial phone call with a lead. You guys need to let that sink in. This is not a relationship building call, even though that's what we're doing. This is not a, okay, I'll get back to you next week. No, there's one reason and one reason only, because the dead files are sitting right there within fingertips, right at his fingertips. Okay? He's got them. They're sitting there. If he has signified interest and he understands what we're doing, or she has, and the light bulb goes off like it did with Stephen yesterday, with the people he spoke to, you've got to close and get the lead, get them moving. You got to get these parts moving in that direction of providing you leads consistently. And the way to do that is to get that lead on call number one. And I know for a fact it can be done because that's how I do it. Okay, phone call number one. You've got leads. They're sitting there. Let's call them. All right, go through your leads right now. Let's pick up the phone. Let's call somebody. Let's make some money. Let's put a deal together. Okay. You have to be willing to do that. If you're not willing to close, listen to what I'm telling you now. If you're not willing to close and you're not willing to make that one phone call and go through all this once you pre-qualified them and ask for that lead right then, and as long as you're not asking for a handout, you're saying, hey, he's already expressed interest. He wants to do it. Fantastic. Great. Let's call somebody right now. Call them right now. That's what you're there for. That's the purpose. Get on the phone right now. And they will do it. Okay, if they have time. Now, remember, I always approach every single conversation I ever get into is, did I catch you at a good time? So there's no getaway of I got to go later on, or I got to go meet my wife, or I got to go to lunch, or take the kids to soccer, or whatever. I always get permission up front to make sure that I have the time that I need to get done what I need to get done, and I'm not wasting time on a phone call that's going to get interrupted. You have to do the same thing. So you talk to somebody, next sentence is, did I catch you at a good time? Go through your pitch, pre-qualify, go through the pitch if they are pre-qualified, and then close, okay? Once they've signified interest, close and get the lead on call number 1. Okay, that's the way that it's done. And what happens then is you get unbelievable momentum going forward because you can make one phone call and get one lead. It is the warm handoff. Okay, these are coming from a trusted financial advisor. It's the warm handoff from their trusted financial advisor. This guy's got their social security number. He's done a colonoscopy on them. He knows where they work, how much money they make. He knows all of their most intimate financial secrets. He knows all of it. And he's going to say, hey, this is the guy you need to talk to. This is the guy that I'm referring, and here's why. This is what he's going to be able to do for you. Okay? So close the first phone call. No delays, no getaways. Great. You love it. Fantastic. You've got dead leads right there right now. Let's call them. Okay? And then you're going to do your follow-up. You're going to do exactly what we talked about. And you're going to lather, rinse, repeat. And you're going to get to the point where you have 8 of these people that have committed to sending you their dead files. You only need 1 per person per month. Does everybody agree that that's realistic, that you could get 1 dead purchase money file from a mortgage broker every single month with a total of 8 guys? If you don't believe that, if you don't agree with that, go ahead and put it over in the question thing, because I'd love to know why. Because I can get on the phone this afternoon and walk out with leads with mortgage brokers. That doesn't mean that everybody I call is going to be a good fit or that we want to do business with them. But what that does mean is I can dial for dollars this afternoon and find 1 or more mortgage brokers to do business with that will start firing over their dead leads because they understand what we're doing and the value that it provides not only to them, but also to their clients. Okay? And then you lather, rinse, repeat. I mean, it just becomes a machine. If you handle it properly, you do your follow-up. Okay? You only need 8. I mean, what happens if you get 10, 12, 15, 18, 20? I mean, what happens if you just keep prospecting? If you keep prospecting and you build an entire stable, a portfolio of mortgage brokers, and as I told Stephen yesterday, you guys need to understand this. Nobody's nice to these guys. Nobody treats them with any type of respect. I mean, loan officers are the guys that are going out taking donuts to realtors, chasing builders, chasing everybody else. You know, they're fighting, scrapping to get leads so they can make a living. And here you come in, and not only do you have leads that you can give to them on a consistent basis, but you can also take their dead files and turn those into deals for them too, something they can't do. Do you guys see the value in this? I mean, this is like, off the charts. If you've, I can't remember what call it is. I'll have to figure out if it's even up on the podcast. I released it a number of years ago. Guys, refer me people with $100,000 in cash. Need a house. He had to turn them down up in New Jersey. I mean, it's like, how does it get any better? Thankful that I was there because, he can lessen the blow. He doesn't have to be that guy. Okay. But I will tell you this, the fortune is in the follow-up with these guys. I'm not a big follow-up person because I hate it because I don't like to chase people. But the fortune is absolutely in the follow-up because here's the thing. They're out there hustling too. They got to eat today. They're not always thinking about you. So you're going to have to get a system in place, Podio, High-Rise, Salesforce, Zoho, whatever it is you're using, Google Calendar. And, once you have the people set up and they've signified interest and you got that lead, then it's business as usual. You need to be following up with them no less than probably once a week, once every 10 days, because they're coming in contact with these people all the time. Okay. You got to keep in mind their whole focus every day is new applications. So I can tell you from personal experience, and when you ask them, you can verify what I'm telling you or find out what their numbers are if I'm mistaken. But every guy that I ever talked to, on average, they're declining between 7 and 8 out of 10 people. And when I talk about a decline, what I'm talking about is if you understand how they changed the laws, like when Jonathan and I were doing mortgages years ago, things were different then. We didn't have to go through all that bull crap that they have to go through now. But if they take an application now, there's all kinds of disclosure stuff they have to do if they have to decline somebody. They don't want to do it. I don't blame them. I don't want to do it either. They don't want to do it. So what do they do to avoid that? Because I told you they're lazy, right? What do? They pre-qualify somebody verbally. And if they hear anything in the verbal pre-qualification that stands out as a reason somebody's not going to qualify, guess what they do? Or what I should say, guess what they don't do? What they don't do is they don't take an application. So when I tell you they're declining 7 to 8 out of 10, that's the people that actually made it through their verbal pre-qualification that then they took an actual full-blown 1003 application on. 4 pages of the application they got to fill out by hand or on a computer. I got fired from a job because I couldn't fill out all the friggin' blanks on a 1003. I had to hire a processor at $65,000 a year to fill it in for me because I'm not the analytical detail person. I could bring in loans, but that just was not my forte. My skill set is not filling in blanks on a form, okay? And they don't want to do this stuff either. They don't want to have to go through all the disclosure stuff to turn somebody down and all that. So listen to what I just said, because here's revenue stream number 2. And another part of your pitch that you can incorporate. And that's simply this. Hey, Mr. Mortgage Broker, all those people that you pre-qualified that never make it to an actual application that meet this criteria, we can buy houses for them too, and then you can refinance them 12 months down the road also. Because they're dealing with 2 different segments of people. They're dealing with people that actually they take an application on, and they're dealing with people that actually verbally pre-qualify and don't take an application on. 2 different segments. You can make money off of both of them. You can now help them make money off of both of them. Okay, so you have to see the bigger picture here and understand what you're dealing with, because they're coming into this stuff all the time. And if you can think about it for a second. So if they're declining 7 to 8 out of the 10 applications, but they actually took the application on, they thought there was enough there. How many people didn't even make it to an application? A bunch, okay? But those people may meet our criteria that we're looking for to help them buy a home. And those people still are looking for a home. And you can help them get it. So each guy, you're talking about you only need 1 from 8 different people every single month. It doesn't work that way. I can tell you, in practicality, the way it works is you get the right guy, and they're sending the right guys or whatever, how many you end up getting. And they're not just sending you 1 deal a month or 1 dead file a month. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's the way it ends up playing out. And Stephen is going to find that out here, as this progresses, especially as we hit the high selling season, which we're just on the very beginning of right now. If you guys don't understand retail sales, the high selling season begins right around spring break, which is right now in the last couple of weeks, and comes to a peak over the summertime, and then starts to decline right after school starts. This is like when all the families, all the parents are trying to get the kids moved and so they can get them registered for school. This is prime time right now we're going into, okay? Super prime time. So this is absolutely the time to be hitting this. You do your follow-up, and they start sending you people, and seriously, you trust me when I tell you, you have more than enough time to close 2 deals a week. It's not that hard. You get so much extra time because in our situation, thankfully, deal can be closed with a phone call. I've closed sellers with 1 phone call and had a contract 20, 30, 40 minutes later executed that worked for a buyer, and we made money that same day. You guys can do the exact same thing. So I'm going to open this up I'll answer this one question here, and then I'm going to open this up to Stephen, because I want you guys to hear, and I don't say this condescendingly, but he's a 21-year-old kid. Okay, this guy is a little fire eater who followed my instructions yesterday, and I want to let you hear directly from him what he thought when I told him this, when we laid the plan out, and then what he did to take action, and then what his results were. Okay, so here's a question we got. It says, please explain what the lender will accept as proof of the payments, showing money direct deposited in seller account, money being sent to property management company, wiring of funds. Yeah, you're going to have a documented paper trail. Okay, the putting cash in your account thing doesn't work, unfortunately. I'm not aware of any lender that will accept that, even if they have proof of the deposit slip. And I could be mistaken because lenders change guidelines all the time. But I would want, what I do on mine is I have them send me a wire typically. You can get them set up on a thing called Wells Fargo Direct Pay, which is a ACH. It only costs $3 on their end, and they can send the money to you. It can be deposited directly into your account, and it only costs them $3 a month. I mean, you can even eat the $3 a month to have that convenience. It works, acts, and functions just like a wire. I get the money same day. We use this on the test strip business. I get the money the exact same day, just like they wired the funds. Sometimes it's not always as fast as a wire can be, but the money comes in and you get notification of it in advance. You can do it that way. I don't take checks from anybody for any reason ever. I mean, you can. I don't do it. It's just a royal pain in the rear end, and I don't like. I've had too many people give me $8,000 checks that bounced, so it's just not something I do. I've shied away from that. But yeah, you need a documented paper trail for the seasoning of the 12 months payments. So there you go. All right, Stephen, turn the microphone back on, brother. Unless you fell asleep. All right, there he is. Okay, so Stephen, share with them. So you're sitting there yesterday. I laid this whole thing out for you, and what?
Yeah. So, basically, before I had called you, I was trying to eat the elephant, and I was really confused, and I was getting frustrated, and I didn't really know where to start. So, like, we got on the phone, and it was, I was just like explaining to you like I typically do, like what I was having trouble with and stuff, and you just started breaking down like, because I told you I was like, yeah, I want to crack $1 million this year. I just don't see why I can't do it. Numbers I'm seeing, and because I had previously closed like $180,000 in mobile homes, and I was like, if I can do that, then selling homes to people who want homes, that's easy. And then I didn't really understand the importance of having a mortgage broker working with me versus just trying to do everything by myself. And so when you had said that, it was just and you started going over it like exactly, like mortgage broker number one. I remember this, obviously it was just yesterday, but I remember this. You're like, mortgage guy number one, he's got 3 or 4 guys sitting in his office, 10 feet away from him. And I was like, that's honestly when it clicked. I was like, I don't even have to work for this. Like, I'm just going to tell him like, hey, who do you know in the office that knows X, Y, and Z? And then from there, like I literally have 4 guys working me, throwing me deals. And so it just kind of clicked from that point. And so after that, I just kind of made it my goal. I was like, because you told me, you're like, all right, by Friday, I want you to show me, on a legal pad that you have 8 mortgage brokers. And I was like, okay. And then we got off the phone and I got it done in 4 hours. I found 8. I found all 8. Even if the mortgage broker didn't answer my call or whatever, I hit up everyone. Here's who I called. I have a lot of realtor friends, so I called every single one of them. And then I hit up every single person who I knew that owned a home. So I probably talked to 20 people yesterday, and 10 people got back to me. So actually I have more than 8, but I at least have my 8 mortgage brokers now. So, and today's training day. So
that is absolutely fantastic, man. I mean, that's how you get it done. Dude, I'm telling you, you're a rock star in the making right now. Okay. You did, for those of you listening to this guy's 21. Okay. He is out there absolutely killing it because he followed instruction, took action, and now he's moving in the direction of accomplishing his goal. Brandon, I know you're on here. Did you hear what he said about realtors? Because you know a bunch of them. And guess who they know? They know a bunch of mortgage brokers. Now watch how this happens. I'm going to show you the magic here. If you're working as a realtor, you can go talk to all your realtor buddies, find out who they're using as their preferred lender. You can work this thing in reverse from your own network. Now, here's what's going to happen. You start then doing these things with these other people, taking the dead deals, getting them leads that you've got and helping them make money. And guess who becomes the top guy that they all start sending all their people to? It's going to be you. You become the preferred guy because you're out there helping them make more money. And I mean, it's very, very, very simple. I don't know how many realtors you know if you're in an office or at work from the house or whatever, but you obviously know a bunch of other realtors and you come in contact with them. And every time you do now, a question, if I were you, that I would be asking is, hey, what lender, who's your preferred lender and why? Who do you use and how good is he and what does he know? And all that stuff. And they all have somebody because that's how they get paid. Because as a realtor, with 98% of all mortgage transactions nationwide involving some type of mortgage banking, or I'm sorry, mortgage finance, if they don't have a competent, qualified guy, they starve to death, and nobody wants that. So you're already a shoe-in for this, man. I mean, you've already got probably an entire network that you could have. You could emulate Steven, and it's, 11:32 Eastern time. By 5 o'clock, have 8, 10, 12 guys, girls, whatever, that you've targeted, that that have been referred, that you can then start on this process with. So, man, I tell you, that is absolutely fantastic, though. I mean, in an afternoon, you got 10 different people targeted. And how many of these have you talked to? Because
What was the question?
I know I'm sorry, the internet is it's amazing, man. You can be at the beach in these $1 million houses and everything, and the internet's absolutely terrible. I don't know how they do it here, but okay. So I know you talked to the one guy, and you said that he had a light bulb moment.
Yeah. So what's funny is I actually called him the day before we had our light bulb moment ourselves. And, I just called him just because I had listened to the mortgage broker podcast, and I was like, all right, screw it. I'm just gonna see what happens. So I made a Facebook status and I was like, hey, am I friends with any mortgage brokers? I immediately got like 3 hits, and one guy, I was like, yeah, of course, hit me up. And he messaged me and he's like, call me. So I called him. Like, this all happened in 20 minutes. It was crazy. And so I called him and I was like, hey, I'm a real estate investor. I specialize in owner financing. And what I would like to do is send all my clients to you for refinancing. And so he started talking to me a little bit more about, like the type of people I work with, stuff like that. And then at the end of the phone call, which is really funny, you put this in your podcast today. I did the same thing. I was like, oh, hey, and then real quick, with all your dead leads, if you don't mind, if you have any recent ones, we can help them get into homes too. And then in the next 12 months or so, you can refinance them too. And he was like, word for word. He's like, holy shit, I never would have thought of that. And I was just like, I was smiling from ear to ear because I could not believe how smooth that call was. It was crazy.
I try to tell people, man, I know it's beautiful to hear somebody else saying this, and it's beautiful that somebody that's 21 that just did his first phone call, and that's the way it happened. But that's how this works. I told you guys this. The mortgage brokers that are out there, nobody's loving on them, okay? Nobody's trying to help them. They're out there scratching, scraping, doing everything they can, getting kicked around like they're the redhead stepchild. And here you go in, you have a great call, and oh, by the way, and guess what? Now you have leads that you can be working. You start training the guy, and you're his go-to resource, and he's going to start sending you his dead files. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't he do that? Right? Now, let me touch on one thing here real quick. I have yet to be able to get an answer to this, and you guys know I'm a big due diligence guy. This question comes up. Unfortunately, I can't get an answer. I don't even know who to go to get the answer. But, real estate realtors, mortgage brokers, or whatever, there are very, very strict, specific laws regarding referral fees, and can't get referral fees and that kind of thing, kickbacks or whatever you want to call it. I don't know that it is illegal for us to pay referral fees on this where they are not doing a mortgage today, because we're doing an owner finance mortgage. However, if anybody gets that question, the question is best posed to the mortgage brokers or mortgage bankers, lead broker, whoever the guy is that has the license, to find out what their posture on it is. Because I don't have a problem, throwing $500 at the guy for sending us a dead file that, once we close it, obviously, and get our money in. I wouldn't have a problem throwing, $500, $1,000, and turning it into an income stream for him as well. And his cost of doing business and marketing, you make him happy, and he's going to continue firing the stuff in. Why not? But that's a question that you're going to have to get answered by his broker. Okay, and what his posture, and it is until I can find some law that says that we can do it that way. So, Stephen, let me ask you this. So you talked to that guy now. He had the light bulb moment, and obviously, what's your takeaway from that experience? How hard do you feel now with what you did yesterday afternoon alone that it's going to be to generate these 8 deals from 8 dead files in a given month?
I feel much better because I'm pretty analytical. So this plan really helped me take away some of the fear I had of like the quote unquote the unknown of what's going to happen or how do I do this type deal. So it really helped me be able to swallow the pill of how do I achieve my dreams and stuff. So realistically, the only thing I have to learn, because this is like my 4th day working with you, so the only other thing I have to learn is how to glue the sellers and the buyers together, and I'm making 7 figures. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, and the first part of that starts with getting, leads that we can pre-qualify, so we actually have some clay to work with, to mold into that deal. And, lead generation and prospecting is always where I start everybody, because that's where the money comes from.
I thought that would be the hardest part too, but it turns out to be like one of the easiest parts, which I thought would be the hardest.
Somebody in California calling me. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying I thought the lead generation side would actually be one of the hardest parts, because I've always struggled with that. But it turned out like in 2-3 days, that was the easiest thing I've ever done.
Can you guys still hear me? I don't know if this thing just turned off or what it did. If you can hear me, put a thing in the sidebar, please. Steven, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, something happens with the way they got the iPhone set up on the iMac tries to answer it. Okay, everybody can still hear it. Perfect. Okay, so, all right. So no doubt in your mind that you could get 8 dead files referred to you in a given month in, month out, based on your experience after one afternoon.
Yeah, I'm going to get them today, because the purpose of the phone call is to get a lead. So unless they don't pick the phone, getting leads. So
there you go. All right. And once you have that lead, we got something to work with. That's the initial clay to mold our deal. That's where the money comes from. You're dealing with buyers with cash referred over to you from the trusted financial advisor. It does not get anybody. That's exactly what you're looking for. And then you're the savior. You guys don't understand this. You become the savior. You get to save these people and give them exactly what they're looking for when the other guy can't. Okay. So, all right, I got a couple of questions here. Let me go through these. And then, Stephen, if you can think of anything else that you want to share based on your experience, because I know this all happened kind of quickly. All right. So can you speak to how we assure the mortgage broker that he will get paid when it's time for refinance? Great question, Sharad. Yes, it's very, very simple. If you've never been involved in, I should have probably included this in the slide. I didn't think through that far enough. That's a really good question. If you've never been involved in conventional sales, what builders do, when they have a preferred lender, is they will incorporate in closing costs or seller concessions to be paid if the borrower, the buyer, utilizes their preferred lender, because what they try to do is they have what they call marketing agreements or whatever with a preferred lender. Basically, it's all kickback money. Where the lender is paying the builder for referrals essentially, but they call it something else so they can try to get away with it legally. But yeah, I mean, we can tattoo and when I talk about tattoo them, this guy can actually be in the contract, and we can put in a seller concession that provides them something so that they have an incentive to go right back to the guy that referred them. There's really no reason why why wouldn't they? It's the guy that referred them. It's the guy they already know. This guy, if he's doing his business correctly, will have his whatever his software is he's using, whether it's Calyx Point or Byte or Podio or whatever he's using, set to stay in touch with them. He obviously knows why they don't qualify and what the time frame is for them to qualify. Obviously, it's very easy to get the 12-month deal down, so we know when 12 months is up, we have the 12-month season payments. So yeah, there's absolutely, we can put them on the contract. There's anything, nobody ever really is too concerned about that, because we're dealing with their customer that they know and have all the contact information for. We have no reason to try to steer these people someplace else. Okay? There's no motivation on our end. The buyer has no motivation to go someplace else, because this is the guy that helped them and he already has their information. But yeah, we can absolutely tattoo them on there for seller concessions paid to them. Okay, Jason says, got a script ready? Yeah, we just covered it here in one of the slides. It's not any more complex than that. You can ask Stephen. He just told you exactly what he said. And it's almost verbatim what I've got in the slide. Oh, okay, so DJ actually did ask, are they able to accept referral fees? Like I indicated, I don't know of any law that would not allow that, given that they're not originating a mortgage. I don't know what the violation would be for a dead file. I've been trying to find it for the last several years. I can't find it one way or the other. So that's a situation, like I said, where ultimately it's probably going to be on whatever the interpretation is by the guy's broker as to whether or not that's okay. Okay, so I don't, unfortunately, I don't have that answer. I've been trying to find it. I can't find it. Okay, so yeah, Dan says another mobile home guy. I love him already. Talking about Steve. Hey, man, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about Steven. All right, this kid has my respect. Unlike any, and I don't keep calling him kid, but he's 21, man. I just like, good God, the sheer tenacity and drive and just professionalism he has got is unbelievable. He came to me. Let me tell you what he's been doing. Okay. And you guys have probably seen this because I know they did this. Some other guy did it and was posting this in Jonathan's Sub2 group. They did it in my group where and it's a legit deal from everything that I understand. I don't know anything. I mean, did a lot of stuff in mobile homes, so I know that there are people that do this thing. But basically what they were doing is they were taking and selling notes on mobile homes where somebody went in and bought a mobile home and I guess they rehabbed it and then they sold it through some type of owner finance deal, and maybe if I'm not explaining that correctly, Stephen, correct me. And then a note's created, and then the notes are sold to investors for servicing, where they then end up getting what is, I believe, a 50% return on their money. And I'm going to tell you something. Okay, I have sold a lot of stuff, and I have done a lot of highly complex sales, but for this guy to make the money that he made selling people mobile home notes is, I mean, it's beyond belief. Okay. I mean, better than me. That's all I can tell you. I don't know how he did it, honestly, because you talk about a tough sale. I mean, this is like even tougher than, timeshares. Okay. A mobile home note virtually, where they can't go see, touch anything, whatever, and he's making this kid is a rock star. I'm just telling you, he's a rock star. He's a rock star, and he's going to be just out there just blazing trails, because if he was able to do this, I told him before, if he's able to do that, this is like taking candy from a baby for him, as he found out. We're talking to the mortgage brokers. So, it's just absolutely unreal. If you can, good God, if you can sell mobile home notes, unbelievable. So, okay. So Brandon says, I turn 23 tomorrow and I'm trying to have this done before I hit 23. What is that, Brandon? Your 8 mortgage brokers? There's no reason that you can't have it done this afternoon if you get to work. Okay. Okay. Brandon says a realtor just got busted for getting kickbacks here, and I'm pretty sure it was with the lender. Of course. Yeah. Because that is illegal. Yeah. That part is, like I said, I don't know with what we're doing here if it is. I'm not telling you it is legal. I'm saying I don't know why it wouldn't be, but it's really going to depend on the posture and understanding of their actual broker. Okay, so I would advise them, because you don't want to jeopardize their license. I don't have any problem paying it, but I don't want to put them in a position to jeopardize their license and their income and all that. Okay, GE says, can you advise what buyer lead criteria for large metro areas? Yes, very, very simple. It's the same as what's in the 10-minute task. For normal markets like Atlanta, again, minimum deal size, $300,000 for purchase money. If it's a rental deal you're looking at, it's $2,000 a month plus. And the reason for that is we're looking for 6-figure income earning households that have liquidity, they have 401ks, they have money for the down payment, and it's a minimum revenue per deal size of 15 grand. That's our bare baseline minimum. Don't want to talk about anything else. That's most of the time, don't want to talk about anything else. Occasionally we get something different, but we'll go outside that box. But typically that's the baseline of where you want to start. Okay, so Clifton is on a plane apparently. He says Wi-Fi on a plane is unstable, and you may have answered this already, but who can verify if we can offer referral fees to loan officers for deals we close on front end to keep them motivated? They're going to have to, unfortunately, unless we can find the law someplace. Maybe we need to ask Bill if he knows where it's at. I don't know. That's going to be a situation where they're going to have to verify with their broker. I don't know any other way around it, unfortunately, because I haven't been able to find the law that says definitively one way or the other. I know, as Brandon mentioned a few minutes ago, that realtors and lenders can't pay each other referral fees, but I don't know how it works in reverse like that with us. So that's a great question we need to find out, because obviously if you can roll into that initial conversation and, oh, by the way, I can pay you $500 per dead file that we close, and you still get the mortgage on the backside, that's a hell of a lot easier sale all the way around. And I don't have any problem with the $500. Obviously, when we're making a minimum of 15 grand and more, I mean, it's a no-brainer all the way around. So yeah, that would be, you'd have more mortgage brokers lined up than you know what to do with. And maybe there's some other legal way that we can do something where we enter into a marketing agreement or something like that and pay for a certain amount of marketing. That those used to be legal. I don't know if they still are. So that's a great question we need to get answered for sure. So, okay. Does anybody else have any other questions? Stephen, do you have anything else to add? If so, go ahead and do it now.
No, I don't have anything to add.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any other questions? If not, guys, I mean, there it is. Black and white, doesn't get any easier than that. And if Stephen can do it and has done it, there's absolutely no reason whatsoever that you all can't do this also. I've had other JVPs that have followed this, literally walk in, first conversation, walk out with people with 780 credit scores, 27,000 to put down, 30 some odd thousand to put down, but still didn't qualify because of employment or income or something. And so they were referred out by mortgage brokers. So this is as real as it gets. I mean, this is real stuff. You just got it all for free. These guys are they're out there. They're out there everywhere. Nobody's loving on them. Okay. And okay, Brandon's asking me another question here. If I join the group JV today, am I available to help? Well, of course I am. That's the whole purpose. I mean, you got to understand, I speak mortgage banker, man. I was one for a long period of time. These guys, I speak the language. So talking to them is a no-brainer. Very, very easy and very simple to have that conversation. A lot easier than dealing with sellers who don't understand what owner finance is, for sure. So that's a no-brainer of a conversation. So yes, I think you guys are saying that. I appreciate what you're saying. As soon as I get this recording pulled down, I'll strip the audio out. We'll throw it up as a podcast also, so people can listen to it, and then I'll get the replay up. Probably be late this afternoon, early. Probably be tomorrow at the earliest, before I can get all that up with what else I got to do here. Okay, Brandon's asked me a question. So it doesn't have to be fully funded for you to get on the phones. Well, yes, technically it has to be fully funded before I get on the phones, but I think we're going to fully fund either later this afternoon or in the morning based on the numbers. Every other one of them is funded on Friday when people got paid. So my expectation is that that's going to be the case for tomorrow. So Mike says, pimp that JVP. Well, that was Brandon, not me. But I appreciate the plug for sure, no doubt. So if you guys know anybody else, yeah, definitely get them going. But Brandon, yeah, I mean, I don't. Look, here's the thing: if you get somebody, I don't have any problem. I'm going to put this up as a podcast. I've talked to Dan Diaz. He goes by a different name on Facebook, but he's a razor sharp guy. I mean, really, he and I have I've been watching him for a couple of years now on Facebook, just really, really sharp guy. And I just genuinely like him. And he had a situation on a deal. He's not JVP, he hasn't paid me anything, but I did a call for him yesterday because I like the guy and I wanted to help him out with something where he's sitting on a $60,000 payday that was about to blow up, that didn't need to. And the reason for that was, and take this the right way, because it's, again, not meant to sound condescending, but it's what I call the difference in the old bull and the young bull. He's got 2 years experience in the business. I've got 25 years experience in the business, and I knew how to instantly fix the problem. But it's only because I've got thousands of deals under my belt, and it's not a slide on him. You don't know what you don't know. And the only way you're going to ever know anything remotely close to what I do is to have been in it for this period of time and have done thousands and thousands of transactions with people and seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, and been a part of all that stuff. So I was able to very, very quickly jump on the phone with one of his buyers, even though he's not a JVP and he's not paying me anything or whatever, and we were able to get that deal moving forward again, thankfully, so that he can get it closed out and get that $60,000 payday. So I don't, as long as you don't go out there blasting out that I'm helping you before the thing is fully funded, I'm happy to have a conversation with somebody. But don't tell anybody, okay? Don't tell anybody I did that, because I don't want to be disingenuous. But other than that, so Jason just asked a great question. And Jason, that's perfect. That's exactly who we want to get the answer from. He says, would the NAMB, which is the National Association of Mortgage Brokers, staff attorney, be able to answer the unlicensed referral fee question? I don't think it has anything to do with licensing. I think it has to do with referral fees in general and how they're viewed. Because like Brandon said a few minutes ago, the realtor to lender referral or vice versa is a kickback and an inducement is a no-go. You can't buy the business that way, but we're not licensed and they are not originating a mortgage. It's basically they're making an introduction from a dead file. You know, we would obviously need to word it correctly and make sure they understand exactly what we're talking about. But hey, if we could get something on their letterhead, that would be money, man. That's a fantastic idea. So, give me a phone call and let's see if we can find out who that is. I will call the guy or girl and find out if we can get that from them or get an answer if it is illegal. At least then we'll know and we can answer that for people going forward. Because if we can pay the referral fees out, this thing is a friggin' no-brainer of epic proportion. I mean, hell yes, these guys they'll be overloading you with files if they got to crack at $500 for a dead file today and then a mortgage 12 months from now. Okay, Brandon says, hey, Vincent, I have a very easy way that people can contact lenders while also looking at FSBOs or homes to rent homes to rent. You should eventually add this because it's easy and great information. Well, I would, but I don't know what it is, so I'll be happy to. Hopefully you'll share it with me. That would be fantastic. We're always looking to provide value to the Facebook group, our listeners, obviously our group JVPs and One On One JVPs, and anything we can do to help people make money. So yeah, that'd be fantastic. You know, I don't know everything, guys. I'd like to tell you that I do, but I don't. Don't have all the answers. Don't have always the very best way to do things. That's the beauty of the Facebook group and the community. And the community of JVPs is everybody working in harmony versus what they do in these other things where you guys are all adversaries and competitors and all that. That's not how we operate. Okay, the only people that have competition are people that can't critically think and innovate. And I have just given you innovation upon innovation upon innovation, and you've heard it firsthand from a 21-year-old that it does work. Here's how they respond. And oh, by the way, in one afternoon, I got 10 of these guys. Okay. So there you go. Okay, here, hang on, Brandon. Let me see. I don't think you have to be a panelist to unmute. Let me see. This thing will cooperate. I'll unmute you. Brandon, go in and see if you have your microphone enabled because I don't have you as a green light. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Be on now. Yep, there you go. Perfect. Yep.
All right, cool. I was just going to share, it's really easy. If you're actually looking for like the for sale by owners that you want to call for owner financing or just the people that are currently renting, if you actually go on Zillow, whether you love it or hate it, you obviously see on the right side, it has like the premier agents that realtors actually pay to be on there as like an advertisement. If you actually go down to the bottom, usually there's always going to be a list of preferred lenders to ask about financing. So, I mean, it's so easy to find. If you want to go into a certain market and just look for sale by owners in that market, whatever listing you're going to click on for sale by owner, there's going to be lenders at the bottom with their phone number and, I mean, just all their information. And you can easily just kind of pre-qualify from there and where the location is and read reviews, things like that. So
yeah, that's an excellent tip, man. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries.
Fantastic. Absolutely. So there you go. There's another source over and above what I showed you with the new construction guys. There you go. And he's right. Those people they're hitters. They're out there paying money so that they can get leads. Okay. So Steven says, thank you for all you're doing. I do have a lot of questions, but I want to make sure I review all of your podcasts before asking questions on things you may have covered. You can go ahead and ask the questions, man. I mean, there's no reason not to cover it all again. A lot of the things are covered 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 18, 20, 200 times over and over again. And sometimes it's that repetition that it takes for it to sink in with people So they finally internalize all the information and they can understand it and take action on it. But I appreciate that. I'm going to, unless you guys have any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off now, and we'll go ahead and get the recording live as quickly as possible, and then the podcast up so everybody can listen to this till their heart's content. I use the podcast, just so you guys know, I listen to my own podcast when I can't sleep, and I have no problems with insomnia. So if you guys haven't tried that yet, it's a good method to go to sleep quickly, especially if you like my Kermit the Frog voice to sing you a lullaby as you're going to sleep about real estate stuff. But nonetheless, I hope that was beneficial to you guys. If so, help a brother out, say some good stuff on the Facebook thing, get this group JV funded, and subscribe, rate, review the podcast, share it, all that, fluffy stuff. Help me out with that, and let's get the word out. Let's get some other really good, solid people and some guys that want to do good quality legal deals, okay? Not this crap these guys, this fraud and everything these people are out there doing. This is totally 100% legit. We're going to get that question answered thanks to Jason from the attorney, the National Association of Mortgage Brokers, with the corresponding statute, case law, RESPA Act, whatever it is that dictates it one way or the other. And then once we have that information, we'll blast that out as well. Other than that, guys, thanks for coming today. Sincerely appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great day, and let's go make some money. Thank you, Stephen, for coming on. I appreciate that, man. Sincerely. That was fantastic.
You've been listening to the Virtual Real Estate Investor Podcast with Vincent Polisi. If you've enjoyed this podcast, be sure to connect with Vincent at virtualrealestateinvestor.org, Facebook at facebook.com/virtual real estate investor, or at Vincent's private Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/virtual real estate investor.